is Ryan Waggoner, and I am one of the co-founders of DailyPath, and my other co-founder is Ben Rasmussen, and we are building what we call a learning platform for lazy people. So the idea is that everybody has kind of a bucket list, a list of things that they've always wanted to do or accomplish or learn, and we are building a platform where people who have that expertise and that knowledge can put together these courses and put them on the platform. Other people who want to learn those things or accomplish those things can purchase or take these courses. And the courses are all broken down into bite-sized daily pieces. So my co-founder and I, Ben, we are both self-taught web developers. We've been doing web development for the last 5 or 6 years, full-time. And neither one of us went to college for that. It was just something that we have kind of picked up and have kind of built a career out of. And we are self-taught in some other areas as well. I think generally for us, learning new things on our own, we all have an incredible amount of information at our fingertips, and developing the skill to be able to kind of sift through that information and decide what's trustworthy and what's worth, what fits your specific circumstances and stuff, is something that we are both really passionate on an individual level. On top of that, we are both really goal-oriented and habit-oriented. I, in particular, grew up in an environment without a lot of self-discipline. I was actually in the military before I got into the whole web development world, and part of my motivation for joining the military was to kind of develop this self-discipline, and throughout my 20s, that was something that I have put a lot of emphasis on. So Ben and I are both really big into metrics, into tracking things. So we have lists of goals, and I have a list of habits that I go through every day. Pretty small things, and not anything that doing it on an individual daily basis you're going to see a big difference, but kind of over time. So whether something like journaling would be a good example, or even just going for a run in the morning. You're not going to see any effect after a few days, but it's kind of months, and just doing it every day, a little bit at a time. There's a tremendous number of people out there who have passion and expertise around a particular subject, whatever it is. And to us, it's really exciting to, as opposed to just trying to, create the content in-house ourselves or partner with, certain people to do that. I think it's really exciting to us to open it up and allow people who have expertise and passion around these very niche subjects that we never would have even thought of. One of the examples that I've been using recently is we had somebody contact us who was interested in creating a course on stress management techniques for parents of disabled children, which is something that I never would have thought of, and something that has the capability to make a genuine impact in somebody's life. So I think for us, just building out a robust platform that allows those people to kind of take those interests and package it up in a way that it's not just information, it's more than information. It's a plan for somebody to follow to actually make a change in their life. And I think, I've blogged a lot over the last few years, and I've amassed a little bit of a following. And for me, it's extremely gratifying whenever somebody comments on my blog and says, "Hey, this post that you wrote today made a difference for me." That's amazing. That's the best feeling in the world. And if we can offer that to other people, that's really exciting to us. So my wife and I moved here from San Francisco. I was there for 5 years. We moved here about 7 weeks ago. And so far, Portland has been great. The weather's been really nice, so that helps. The Portland startup scene has also been really great. So the Bay Area startup scene obviously is great. It is. I mean, it's amazing. But it's completely overwhelming. And there is so much going on there all the time that it's really hard to kind of wrap your arms around it and understand, who do I talk to? What are the right events to go to? And I think that one of the things that Portland does have going for it is that it's a pretty tight-knit group. I wouldn't say it's really small, but it's not huge either. It's not, and it's a good size where there's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of people who clearly know what they're talking about and have done some really amazing stuff. And a lot of those people have come through Pi and are going to come through Pi. And so that's great. It's not, we're not in the middle of nowhere where there really isn't any talent. But everybody seems to be really accessible here in a way that I think is probably not the case anymore in the Bay Area. This is not the first project that I've worked on. Actually, Ben and I, my co-founder, we worked on another project a couple years ago, and we had some paying users and stuff, but one of the things that we learned on the tail end of that project, and that we've both learned, we both have done freelance, and so we've watched a lot of clients, including startups, go through this thing, is that to the extent possible, test stuff before you build it. If possible, sell it before you build it. That doesn't work with everything, but to any extent that you can, if you can figure out some way to get any sense of demand, any kind of like person putting any kind of a commitment behind something before you invest time building it, you're going to be way ahead of the curve. Because what most startups do is they have this idea and they're all fired up about it, and they convince themselves that it's a great idea and everybody's going to love it, and they build it, and then they find out that A, no one else really cares, B, the execution's terrible, C, the execution's great and everybody would love it, but they don't have any idea how to get people to it. And to the extent that you can solve some of these problems before you have to sit down and start building product, which is, pretty expensive in terms of time and money, I think you're way ahead. So one of the things that I would say has been really important for us, and this may not be true for everybody, but it has been really meaningful for us, is that we genuinely believe, like at our core, in what we're trying to do here. And some of the players in our space clearly do not. Clearly, they saw the space as just being a good opportunity, and they're there because they think that they can make money. And that's probably true, but a startup is hard, and you gotta, we get into the office at 5:30 in the morning every single day, and we are here for 12 hours, and we work at nights and weekends on this too. And that takes a lot of energy. We both have families and we both have other responsibilities, and I don't think that we could do that day in, day out and build something that we were really excited about and really cared about unless the core of what we're trying to do is something we believe in. So I don't know if that's true for every startup, but at the end of the day, I couldn't do this if it was to build something that I thought was just going to make some money, because I can make really good money doing other things.